What it do, world? It's the late night, halfway spooky edition of the Bamboozled Again News Network, and I'm your humble servant, File Shopton, aka the Toothless Wonder. Where do I begin? Okay, a lot of time I look at content on YouTube, your various subject matter, and I just come on with my 2 cents. I don't know how to splice videos and do all that as of yet, right? And I'll segue that into a couple different talking points. Um, I saw a video of Charleston White, and he was, detailing. I think the title of the video was "Hardworking Black Men Don't Affect Us." Right now, I believe the man is aligned with some agency, like he's got, what I mean, woo woo woo, right? But I do have the ability to take the meat and spit out the bones. And actually, a lot of what Charleston White be saying, I agree with wholeheartedly. He's so controversial because let's look at, scripturally wise or spiritually. Anytime a prophet, and I'm not calling him no prophet by no long shot, but in the sense of someone who tells black people the truth, they hate him. Anybody, and let's look at Yeshua. When Yeshua holds a mirror up to you about what you're deficient in or what you're not taking responsibility for, XYZ, they turn on you. His Charleston White's critique was essentially that black people in totality are done. And I agree 100%. In the words of Birdman, are we finished or are we done? That's just the reality of the matter. The thing that used to hinder me in sustained sobriety wasn't all like traumas and triggers and all this other type of crap. It was my now I seen reality. I seen what it was. It was my inability to see it for what it is and address it. So because of my inability to see it for what it is, pertain to myself and address it, the same things kept repeating themselves, which is insanity. And then I ran out of excuses about who to blame. Oh, the treatment people this. Oh, somebody plugging my nerves. Oh, support. Once I stripped all the excuses away, I've now been able to do something I've never done since I started doing it. And not only have I done stuff I've never done before, I'm doing it on my own terms in my own way. Um, the host or the interviewer rather was saying, you know, something about, well, what Charleston White was critiquing isn't symbolic of black people as a whole, which is true. Hardworking black people don't affect black culture. It's the negative stuff that affects black culture. His critique was fatherlessness, drugs, violence. So the interview was like, how do you solve it? Fathers, drugs, like it starts at the home. And because our homes are out of order in mass, there's no hope in mass for black folk. Now, you can influence, like, okay, what I'm attempting to do, at least in my mind or the vision I have, right, is to influence the individual in the environment. If I influence enough individuals in the environment, change mentality, you know, just shift your mentality, right? How you see things, which should, after a period of time, change how you do things, which should change the results you get over a period of time, right? I can, by default or by proxy, change the environment if I change or influence, rather, the individuals in said environment. But in totality, Negroes is done. And I'll segue that into this, right? I've been saying, and I had a long day. So I've seen, YouTube titles, but I didn't have a chance to click on any of them. But I'm seeing a lot of rhetoric, whether it's true or valid or not, it's still content, right? In which black women are blaming black men for Trump getting into office because they didn't vote or they voted for Trump or whatever the case may be, right? Herein again lies the delusion. In the words of Nipsey Hussle, the last time I checked, black people were 13% of the total population in America. 13%. Let's boost it up. Let's double that to 25%. Black men, black women are voting. Let's say they're a quarter of the United States populace. Even if every single black person who was eligible to vote voted for Carmella, she still would not have won. So why are black men getting the blame for this? I'm gonna tell you why in a minute, right? Again, therein lies the delusion. Here's the deeper level, or the deeper, because I like to dig deep, right? And I've kind of caught this in my own kind of way personally, right? After the election, various female family members, like, I post up, they ain't got nothing to do with nothing, and then they like segued into, oh, you love Trump, or right? Here's what's happening with this, right? And I seen the shaming tactics during the election, where the illusion is gone. Black men are doing what they believe are in their interest, whether who likes it or not. Because nobody has our best interests at heart. You see what I'm saying? So when Carmella went and got all these celebrities who probably been at the Diddy freak-offs, it didn't move black men. When Obama, like 08 Obama, or 2024 Obama is not the same as 08 Obama. He come out there and try to halfway slam you onto the plantation. And bro was like, man, who is he talking to? He's not the same individual who, we were enamored by, 16 years ago. He had no effect. The people they're using to, influence you aren't influencing anymore. YouTube probably got the more influence over, the proverbial black man than any celebrities or entertainers or anything along those lines. Negroes don't look up to these folk no more. They going off on their own. They find their own answer. They trying to figure out what's in their best interest in a place where, essentially, let's be honest, no one cares. Everybody expect you to be their flunky or be the proverbial camel they ride to wherever, and then when they get to wherever they try and get at, they act like you ain't the one help get them there. So I think black women are mad for a couple of reasons. One, it was and I've seen this in the past personally, where you don't do something the proverbial black woman wants you to do, no matter what it is, you're met with so much aggression and you know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you hard pressed to get her to do simple stuff. Like, just treat me with some general respect, you know what I'm saying? And then let's say black men had done that, Carmella still wouldn't have got in. And then once they got, let's say hypothetically Carmella won, right? They wouldn't have respected you none, and then they'd have used her and whatever posse would come to further dig you down into the dirt. Nobody respects anybody that's stupid, or who they can just use and discard whenever they feel like it. But here's the tripping part, though, right? Black women are, from what I'm gathering on YouTubeal, right, on the YouTubeal street, black women are blaming black men for Kamala not getting in there. So their hopes are dashed. Whatever concept they had in their mind of what America was going to look like and what she was going to be able to do under her administration had been rendered asunder. That's a good way to tell what people at with it. Tell them no, or not have something go their way, as we see. Again, and I seen Newbury got a lot of flack for this. I guess he did a video talking about the black. He wasn't saying all, of course. Just like I don't make all, just general blanket statements, right? But if it applied, apply. You know what I'm saying? Where he was saying the black woman's the devil, right? That is a devilish response. Typically, if you really want to know where somebody at with it, tell them no, or not have something work out for them that involves you. Some stuff don't work out, okay, cool, or we figured out, or whatever. But when it don't work out, like in my personal life, when I did something just to protect me from another person, I was called the devil. Even though this person has been a thorn in my side since I've known him. Again, that's my fault, though. Personal responsibility. So since I took personal responsibility for who I deal with, those type of situations don't happen. The only reason it's happening is because we got y'all together. You know what I'm saying? But none of the stuff that used to vex me or that I see vexing other people is nowhere near being an issue for me because I got enough sense not to fool with it. Yeah, you can talk all this, and yeah, I might even halfway want to believe you. But you know what stops me? What I see you do, how I see you act. So now, because I believe in general, people are like they just can't come out there and just, tap dance at the church and all that. Oh, man, we don't want to see all that. What are you going to do? And they don't be having no answer. So then you mad at black man because the people you want to vote for ain't got no answer for them? You ain't supposed to ask no question. You ain't supposed to have no standard. Just believe. And they're not even trying, at this point, they're not even trying to come up with good law. They just tell you anything. And then when you don't go for it, they mad with you. You ever notice this? We're in this space now where people attempt to bamboozle you, and when it don't work, they're mad at you and then try to hinder you or attack you or tear your name up because their whack game didn't work. Yo, where is we at, yo? This is wild, yo. Again, fun. It's funny in a sad way. Even let's say, and this would trips me out too as well, about okay, and I know about, I've seen on YouTube views, and with personal family members, female friend, whatever, right? Who go to church but still get wrapped up in politics. Like it's not all written. Like the average black person who go to church every Sunday is ill-equipped and prepared for now, let alone what's coming down the pike. No matter who get in there, they're done because you can't show them any evidence of their hypocrisy or their foolishness. Then you become the enemy. That's why in mass, okay, let's look at during the Exodus. We all left, right? And then we had the wilderness period, which from what I've researched, it said it was like a 10-day track. But somehow we wound up out for a 10-day track. They said we wound up out that joint 40 years. How many people actually made it into the promised land? I think one of the contributing reasons, we had become so Egypt out, if that's a word. We had so much Egypt in us, we would have been ineffective in a new place. Just like, let's say, I don't know, the reparations argument, whatever. I don't know how that would even work. But let's say they were to just take the state of Texas and give it to black people for reparations. We ain't going to do nothing but go right back into bondage and right back into Babylon because we can't work together. We can't get along. In mass. There's too much Babylon in us. Like, okay, we got Texas, right? And every man got his own wife and so on and so forth. That ain't going to last but so long because everyone's used to being sneaky. Everyone's used, like in this age of scamming and this, that, and the third, and woo. You see what I'm saying? Like the hardworking people, let's say we in Texas all by ourselves. The hardworking people would then get influenced by or be negatively impacted by the people who aren't hardworking or the people who don't have a certain morality, principles, or standard. So ultimately, that place would just get infected with the same thing we just left. It has to be purged out. Like it said in the Old Testament, like with, I guess, adulterers or practitioners of witchcraft. Those people had to be purged out from among you. Because if you don't, they'll negatively affect everyone else. It'll become like a cancer and it'll grow amongst the environment or the culture. That's why those penalties, now I understand why those penalties for those indiscretions, for lack of a better word, were so severe. And they have to be. Because left unchecked, it's like a malignant root that just continues to grow. Just like complaining. You ever notice if you're around somebody and they complain, next thing you know, everybody complaining? You know what I mean? Yeah, we done. We good and done. We finished and we done. It leads me to certain questions about, the youth and things of that nature. That's why only thing I can do is my part. to infect, to positively counteract the negativity in the environment by infusing positivity and empowerment into the individual. That's the only shot I got. But in mass, no. There's too much negative. Like, here's the tripping part, right? There are more hardworking black people than, let's say, drug dealers, scammers, XYZ, da da da. But black culture, on the left-hand side of things, is able to influence the positive acting individual. Like I said in another video about how black culture has influenced even into your workspace. So let's say you on the work job or whatever, they still act ghetto even if they ain't ghetto. They might be bougie, or, they might be gatekeeping, or they might be sleeping around. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Granted, they might not come from that environment or live in that environment now, but because of the media, the cultural influences, it has affected them. You know what the biggest detriment to black people is? Beyond what I said about fatherlessness, drugs, violence. It's actually in the AA literature. Spiritual indifference. That is the root cause of all of our issues, spiritual indifference. If I'm operating as I attempt to in a spiritual manner, right, I may be tempted to do some stuff. Or if I do this, this could get me somewhere financially. And we're always talking about in the inverted Babylonian value system, right? But my spiritual disciplines and practices stop me from doing things that aren't conducive to my spirit, right? And spiritual indifference is black women blaming black men for someone not getting into office when they had no power to bring them in office in the first place. That's spiritual indifference. You don't care. You just want somebody to blame because things didn't work out the way you wanted them to work out. They didn't work out because it wasn't meant to work out. And then that goes into practicing acceptance and then moving on. It's real in the battle. I had something I was going to say. I totally forgot. And it was a good point too, yo. Maybe it'll come back to me. But this is just the space we're in. And from what I'm saying, it just leaves more credence to, and I've said this in previous videos before my channel kind of got some traction. Black people like being bamboozled, and we're finished and we're done in totality. And the reason being is because of spiritual indifference. Spiritual indifference is going to the church house and not seeing any spiritual growth. You're detailing your road mapping your spiritual growth based on financial trajectory and social acceptance. Where is that in the Bible? That's spiritual indifference. Spiritual indifference is saying the things I just said, or as Charleston White has said, or as Newbreed has said, and getting angry. That's spiritual indifference. Because typically what happens, you argue out of emotion, but you can't produce any facts to counter the argument. The facts that I produce, just open your eyeball, look around, there it is. My arguments aren't out of emotion. My opinions aren't out of some preconceived, mentality rather. It is from the experiences I see every day, B. Just like one time I was talking to my father, right? This when Obama was in office. And you know how they cook the numbers, right? So he was saying unemployment's down, da-da-da. So my dad like, yeah. He said he's doing a great job, yeah. So I do one of these numbers, right? I look out the window. And we in a middle-class neighborhood. I said, Dad, what time is it? It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right? Business hours are typically 9 to 5, right? So if the unemployment numbers are down, why is the parking lot 70% full? Oh, man, right. But then, again, no facts given. Oh, that don't mean nothing. You just don't want to believe in that. Here's another reason why black people are done. Because when you present tangible solutions that require any personal responsibility, it get met with blame shifting. Like I said, I did the video. What was that? Last night, I think. And I made a statement. The black church, or judgment is coming to the black church, right? And then this family member said, what about the white church? We not talking about white people. That's the problem. Every time we talk black issues, now, are there certain catalysts or protagonists that created this environment? Yes. But now they can just lead a machine and it runs on autopilot, again, because of spiritual indifference. So whenever we talk about black issues pertaining to black people and the things black people do, we always want to bring up white folk. We're not talking about white folk. And we'll never get to a solution if we keep deflecting when we're presenting the issue at hand. The issue will continue to persist unless we can deal with the root cause of it. But we can never get that far because they start talking about other stuff. So why you just didn't bring that up at first? How come you bring that up as soon as I bring up this particular issue that has been going on and is continuing to go on? And white folk can't solve it, nor do they want it solved. We gonna have to do that. Oh, Lord, we gotta do something. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy, yo. It's insane, man. Like, well, no, it's not. Again, you can't fault Babylon for Babylon. And I think one of the root words of Babylon means confusion. Everybody confused, but acting like they on to something. But nobody can tell you where we're going. That's another aspect of spiritual indifference. No direction. Just wanting to argue. And it's not like the argument are leading to the implementation of a solution. And typically that's a characteristic of someone essentially of low intelligence. Like, let's say someone says something I don't like and I just start arguing or becoming emotional. I can't, critically think, reason, practice active listening skills, and then come with a rebuttal based on what they said, not something else to take us off the path of what they're talking about. It's real out here in the battlefield. Yeah, we done. We good and done. We don't get no doner. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean the individual is done. That's why I've separated myself from black culture in totality as a whole. The value system, like championing people coming home that don't benefit the black community none. That's spiritual indifference. Let's take these rappers or these super duper drug runners. They run around selling drugs to their own kind and we esteem them. Like he ain't the reason your sister is out here stealing. You see what I'm saying? And essentially they're doing nothing but selling the white man poison. So we celebrate them for selling the white man poison and making a whole bunch of money, going to jail. Now they coming home. Like they finna do something. These are the people, the Barnabas principle. But again, the real activists and whatever, they might even know their name no more. And they still locked up. But these are the people we celebrate. This is how dysfunctional black culture is, and that's why I won't be no part of it. No. We celebrating criminals coming home or beating charges so they can come out and commit more crimes against the same group of people. And then when they do it, if it's somebody you know, now you hollering and screaming. But you were just celebrating them coming home. Like that picks up the morale. That's what it is. Spiritual indifference is the root cause of all of our problems. Just like even, let's say, during our grandfather's times, like stuff went on. It's always going, and it goes on in other cultures and so on and so forth. But there was a certain standard. So let's say if a wife was cheating on her husband, she would do her best to hide it because she didn't want to be ashamed. Now there's no shame. Anytime a politician, in an attempt to garner support, gets Meg the Stallion and twerkers and people who talk about, what she say? My coochie lips pink and my booty hole brown. And that's who you get? Because you think they're going to help get you black vote? That ain't going to get you in no way? Oh, that's what I was going to say. Praise the Most High. Here's spiritual indifference right here. Here to kick it over, right? You know why Trump is in office? It's not because black men voted for Trump or didn't vote for Kamala. But here's the people that won't say nothing about it. Trump is in office, drum roll please, because white women voted for Trump. Bingo. The white woman, now I want to believe Jewish people and the black women are probably the most protected groups. Black women are the most protected group as far, in reference to black men. Because black men can't say nothing about black women. Now, black women can hop on here and call them dusty and whoop de whoop de whoop. But anytime black men hold black women accountable for their chicanery en masse, it just don't take hold, or you get canceled or you get blocked. Here's how I knew en masse black women were dumb, right? When it came out that Jada Pinkett, and I remember this vividly, when Jada Pinkett came out and said she had slept with her son's friend and then brought Will on her show and shamed him in front of everybody, and as I gauged it on Facebook at the time, they were making nothing but justifications and saying, "Oh, Will must have been cheating," and da 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 da. I said, "Oh my damn, we in some deep water here." They justified Jada Pinkett Smith sleeping with her son's friend, who had mental health issues at the time. That's when I knew without a shadow of doubt that the black woman in general is finished and she done. Which I noticed, like, a few, but when these type of shit, I don't really see a lot of black women call this stuff out. Or, no, you weren't supposed to do that. Or, what kind of woman do that, woo-de-woo? At best, they silent. At worst, they'll give justifications for it. Which leads me to believe, right situation, you'll do it, and if you don't do it, you reserve the right to do it under certain circumstances. But black women aren't calling out white women, because white women are actually the one who got Trump in. There are more white women in America than white men. They're probably the biggest, largest group. Oh, that's what I was going to say. Jewish people and black women are probably the most protected groups as far as who you can't talk about. But the most powerful group in America is the white woman. And that's who got Trump in there. The white woman would rather be led by Trump than an Indian woman masquerading as a black woman. That's more delusion myself. Okay, I don't know of any policy she'd hold or whatever. Her policy or her running stance was the fact I'm not him. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if I'm in a dating world and this person is super terrible, I'm not going to get with you just because you say you're not them. Okay, like, what do you actually do, or who are you then? I'm not them. That don't work for me. You see what I'm saying? But we're talking about a woman whose rise up the political ladder was sleeping around, who then claimed to fame was locking Negroes up at a historic rate in California, and then being absent and being a debacle in the departments of immigration and so on and so forth that she currently has the authority over now, and you mad this woman didn't get in because you think she didn't get in because black men didn't put her in there. It's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. But since I made that statement, which is factually correct, if we look at the numbers, because there are more women on earth than men. So I'm generally assuming there are more white women in America than white men. And it is the white woman who got Trump in office. But they won't call out no white woman, and they bet not now nuddle, but not now nuddle. Talk about the pristine snow bunny. You know what I mean? She won't do that because deep down, she won't be like her. But it'll never get there. You know what I mean? No good and darn well not talk about no Karen, call no Karen out for her decision. So they just blame Negro for it. Negro take blame for stuff he ain't got no. He wasn't even around. He at fault. You know what I'm saying? I've had that happen. People blame me for stuff I wasn't even nowhere in the vicinity. I didn't even know you. What I got to do with that? Everybody needs somebody to blame when stuff don't go their way. But nobody, I'm not saying in general, nobody ever looks at what part that they play in the situation. You know what I mean? Just like I can say, oh, black woman ain't this and that and the third, right? But you'll never hear me hop on here talking about, oh, what a black woman done did me recently. Because I got enough sense not to fool with them. That's why. Just like when you hear these sisters saying, oh, Negroes done did this to me, that. Why you keep messing with them or messing with that type of Negro? Doing the same thing, expecting a different result, is the definition of insanity. But now, like I said in previous videos, it's like everybody's jockeying to be the greatest victim. Where did that become a thing? Get over me a couple times, I'm gonna just stop fooling with you. But they ain't gonna like 17 more people get over on me, now hop on here, whine about how everybody. Stop fooling with them then. Why you keep fooling with them? They say the victimhood gets you more attention. And I guess everybody wants some level of attention, but I don't want it like that, and I don't want it for that. My claim to fame is everybody I've ever encountered that F me over. That was my issue with DC Mo when I talked about on here. I'm like, God darn, cub, boy, everybody you encounter effing you over. Why you keep fooling with them? Or what is it that you're doing that's contributing to this outcome? He never got to that point, so all that stuff kept happening. God darn, car coming down the street. Look like the police, don't it? So since he couldn't change it, it just kept happening. And then people get tired of hearing that stuff, man. Every time you turn around, somebody effing you over. You mean tell me you can't figure out how to solve that? Or look at, what it is you're doing that's contributing to this outcome where you're the common denominator? We Americans are weak. And I don't know if it got something to do with food, spiritual indifference once again, but nobody can hold up any kind of any level of uncomfortability or discomfort. I'm made in uncomfortability and discomfort. It's my claim to fame. It's actually the catalyst that helps me come to YouTube with the wisdom that people say I got. Because I kind of walk more of an isolated, kind of path or whatever. In my mind, I'm like, man, ain't nobody feeling me. You know what I'm saying? Or I got my own particular vernacular or cadence of word. Ain't nobody feeling me, man. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody understand where I'm coming from. But they do. Because a lot of times I make content for the average person, male or female. You know what I mean? And again, all black women aren't like that. It's quite a few sisters who comment on my videos who are, overcome certain things, looked at, the decision they made, and they're better women. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's about for me, just being a better person, a better man. And that's the reward. Like, how they say, what's the reward for being real? You got it. You real. Ain't no reward for doing the right thing other than you did it. You know what I'm saying? You don't do it for no pat on the back or for no socialist thing. You doing it so you can sleep well at night, so your conscience is clear. You know what I mean? Word up. Just want to come through with a little late night jump. It ain't really late night. It'll probably be late night by the time I upload this jump. But let's just okay. I'll finish on this note, right? And this reminds me of the story of Noah. And I guess we'll be led at the time. Don't be surprised when you see black culture, quote unquote, black people become their actions and behavior becoming ever more egregious. How even more Negroes sell out to the umpteenth degree for a spot in a crumbling society or, some fiat currency that they're devaluing and going to phase out and turn digital anyway. You know what I mean? I believe the black woman en masse is going to become ever more worse, just in general. Here's what's going to happen too. The black man is going to become even more panderfied to whomever he may encounter. You know what I mean? He's going to become more what they call it simpish and pandering and more spineless. You know what I mean? And we're going to get it. Well, I'm not, because I don't lump myself up. But let's not be surprised when we see this moving forward and just realize the sign of the times and practice acceptance and do our due diligence practicality to protect ourselves spiritually so that we don't become indifferent. Protect ourselves mentally so that we can stay, on an even keel, and protect ourselves physically. And on that note, I'm signing off. Ooh, ah!